Welcome back to the Body Series sequence presented by Grit Life Fitness. My name is Kristina Courage. I am a personal trainer and group fitness instructor, and today's sequence is sequence number 9. We're going to do some wall stretching, and this is one of my absolute favorite ways to stretch after a workout or after a long day, because we're going to attempt to do some passive stretching using the wall. So it's all very trial and error in terms of how you position yourself. But once you find the correct posture and alignment and position, you're going to feel an amazing stretch. And then we can hold those stretches just a little bit longer because we're passive and we can relax into it. So the whole goal of stretching is to lengthen the muscles so that we can use the full range of motion that our tissue is capable of. All right, let's get started. I'm going to show you from the side. The first one is a hamstring stretch. So the tricky part is setting up into the wall. So you're going to get as close as you can with your hip, like sideways to the wall. And then you're going to let your legs kind of swing up, and then you have to kind of shift about and find an open where you're even. Okay, so I'm going to flex my feet. I'm going to take my arms out to the side. So this is also just an open posture relaxation pose. This is a great pose just to sit on the wall. You can hold this for up to 30 minutes. This is an amazing position to put your body into. And you're getting an even stretch in your hamstrings. But what makes this different is that the lower back is not involved. The lower back should be stable and anchored onto the floor. All right, so we're gonna hold this for 1 more minute. Your spine is experiencing some decompression here. And the reason why we take the arms out is just so that we're encouraging a little bit more openness in the front of the body. Now, if you were to have really tight hamstrings, then the way you set up is so that your tailbone is on the floor. So if your tailbone is off the floor, you're going to move back to where your tailbone can be resting on the floor. So you're not up off the floor like this. All right, you got about 10 seconds. Take some slower, deeper breaths. Okay, we're going to stay right here. And we're going to go into a big V stretch. So you're simply going to take your legs out to the side as wide as they'll go, but even. And we want to keep the feet flexed and lined up with your knees. So you're not going to let the knees fall out to the side. So you keep doing that one. I'm going to just switch my view here. So again, tailbone needs to be on the wall, arms are out, and then take that V stretch out. And again, gravity is doing all of the work once you get into that position. It should be uncomfortable, but not painful. Good, breathe and hold. Again, we're holding these for about 1 minute. But you can absolutely hold them longer. Okay, beautiful. Bring your legs back up. And now you're going to scoot away from the wall, about a foot at least. And you're going to adjust this as we go, but I'm going to take my left ankle and cross it below my right kneecap. And then from there, I'm going to flatten the foot that's on the wall so that this knee is going to bend. And I just begin to slide that foot down until I feel a stretch in that opposite glute or hip. All right, so depending on how close you are to the wall, you may not need to slide your foot down very far. If you're too far away, you're probably not going to feel a good stretch. Good, and then you're taking the arms back out, you're breathing, you're relaxing, your tailbone is on the floor. So this is really the only thing that I want you to stay strict with is positioning the body so that the hips and the tailbone stay down. That way you're going to get the stretch from that point of stability. All right, let's try the other side. So come back up into a narrow V. Switch your leg. So foot is flexed towards your hip, above that kneecap. Slide your foot down. And notice I'm trying to keep my hip, knee, and foot all in alignment. Arms come out and I breathe. And this is a wonderful stretch series, and you can also pay attention to which side is tighter, and you're going to adjust for each side, which is really great. Beautiful. Okay, let's gently come out of that stretch, and we're going to turn onto the side and scoot away from your wall. We got one more stretch, but we're going to do this without the wall. So the last stretch you do not need the wall at all. But you do need your mat. All right, so we're going to set up with the knees bent, feet stacked, hips stacked, and I'm going to bring my shins so they're parallel with the front of my mat. And my feet are still flexed though. And then I'm going to lay down on my side to where my shoulders and hips are also parallel with the back of my mat. They don't have to be like on the back of my mat, but just so you're making straight lines. So you look like a staircase. And then I'm going to take my bottom shoulder and put it right below my top shoulder. So I'm going to kind of squeeze it underneath my shoulders, stack my hands, stack my arms. So my fingers should match up in terms of distance. And I'm going to rest my head down. I'm going to imagine like my knees are bolted into the floor, so they're not going to shift. And then I take my top arm, I begin to reach it up and over. And the goal here is not for my arm to reach the floor, it's just to rotate and twist the back. So you're going to keep going until you hit the floor, or until your knees feel resistance. Yeah, so I'm going to come up a little bit because the wall is in my way. But you should feel a twist in your lower back, middle back. And I like to take the hand that's on the floor and just stabilize my knees. And then I'm going to rotate my head to look towards the opposite arm. Oh, all right, so let's try that from the other side. All right, so it's all about the alignment and the setup. So stack the knees, feet, and hips. And then the top arm is going to reach up and over. And you're looking towards that hand. And then you can relax. Let your body just get heavy. Breathe. Three, two, one, and rest. All right, let's come up from that. And that was the last stretch I had for you, but I encourage you to try this routine again, over and over again. Great to do before bed at night, just to get you rested and ready for sleep. All right, thank you for joining me.